Good evening, Miss O'Shaney. How are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, sorry, hang on. Okay, sorry, my sound was off.
That's okay. How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. Thanks so much for joining us.
Of course.
I'm going to share my screen.
There you go, Mom. Can you see? Uh-huh. Put it in here. Here. Oh, you're gonna be able to. Well, would it be better if I'm close?
Good evening, Miss Jenkins, Mr. Bixby. How are you all?
Hi,
Good, Mr.
I'm
Potter.
good. Hey, Mom.
We have a number of folks who have joined us online. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll get started here in just a couple of minutes. Wait, give folks it's about 3 minutes to 7. So
Okay.
hopefully you all can see the opening slide, the 48th annual Prince William Regional Spelling Bee.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. For parents who are on the call, I've just put into the chat a link to the release form for the spelling bee. I'll talk about this as we move through the presentation this evening, but we do ask folks to complete this before the night of the bee, and you can do it online here. Just saves a lot of time with the check-in next Tuesday night. And then I'm also going to put in the chat the spelling bee rules. But here's my screen again. Okay, we have a fair number of people on here. We'll give folks just another minute or two, and then we will go ahead and get started. This should not take a terribly long amount of time this evening, 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops, I think. Um, so hang with us for a second and we'll get started in a minute.
Did Mr. Bixby come on yet?
He is here.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I don't see anybody else logging on here, so let's go ahead and get started. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bruce Potter. I'm the publisher of Inside Nova. We are delighted again this year to partner with the Bel Air Women's Club to present the Prince William Regional Spelling Bee. This is the 48th annual regional spelling bee that we've done here in Prince William County. It was started by the Women's Club in 1978. And Inside Nova, in its current form, joined on in 2013. So, been at it a number of years. And, really the goal tonight is just to give our spellers and their parents an idea, particularly for those who have never participated in the bee, just to give you an idea of what to expect next Tuesday evening, to go over some of the basic rules, to answer some frequently asked questions that we get every year, and also to give you all an opportunity to ask questions. I would ask if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A or in the chat, whichever is easier. We will get to questions at the end. I think that the information we're presenting will answer a lot of your questions based on our experience running the bee for a number of years. But certainly, if we fail to answer any, please feel free to put them in the Q&A or the chat, and we'll answer them at the end. So let's see if I can move this to the next slide. Here we go. So welcome and congratulations to all of the students who are on the call this evening. You all are our top spellers in Prince William County this year. You're participating in the Regional Bee because you won your school spelling bee, which is an incredible accomplishment. So congratulations, and you've done an amazing job to get to this point. And you should be very proud of what you've done, and we look forward to meeting you all next Tuesday evening. We have three special folks on the call this evening, and I will just let them. I'll introduce them and then let them say a word or two. First is our pronouncer, Ms. Maria O'Shaney, who is the assistant principal at Garfield High School. This is the third year that Miss O'Shaney has joined us. And Miss O'Shaney, do you want to say a few words?
Hi, yeah, good evening. Yeah, like Mr. Potter said, this is my third year working with the Spelling Bee. I absolutely love the event. Congratulations, as he stated, to everyone for making it this far. It's such an accomplishment and just such a great event every year and such a privilege to be working with. So I will be the pronouncer again and just looking forward to being there and meeting you all in person on March 10th.
Okay, thank you. Our head judge is Mr. Bill Bixby. Mr. Bixby is retired associate superintendent for high schools for Prince William County Public Schools and has been judge and head judge of the bee for a few years himself. Mr. Bixby.
Thank you, Mr. Potter. And I just want to echo Mr. Potter and Miss O'Shiny. We're just excited to see you all next Tuesday evening. I have the honor of serving as one of three judges. I'll be joined by Miss Carolyn Custard and Miss Dr. Jarcelyn Hart. And the three of us find the evening to be exciting and very positive, and we're really impressed. And I will say this, I'll let you in on a secret. The three of us are very happy that we're not having to spell the words. So we really look forward to seeing you, and we hope that you have fun next Tuesday night.
I'm happy I don't have to spell them as well. Our third special guest this evening is Mrs. Ernestine Jenkins from the Bel Air Women's Club, who has worked with us on for as long as I can remember on the spelling bee. So, Ms. Jenkins.
Hi, boys and girls, and everyone. The Bel Air Women's Club is so excited to have a spelling bee with so many wonderful best spellers in the country, not just Prince William. And I'm the education chairman of the spelling bee, and I am so excited about meeting all of you. Thank you, Mr. Bruce, for all that you all do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank all of you. The spelling bee would not be possible without all the folks on this call. So thank you very much. And the young man there to the right on your screen is Vincent Chu. Vincent was the just to give you a taste of what's in the future for one of our spellers. Vincent was the winner from our spelling bee last year. He was an eighth grader at George Hampton Middle School. And this is a photo of him participating in the Scripps National Spelling Bee last May in Washington, where he reached the quarterfinals. One of our winning speller next Tuesday night will be following in Vincent's footsteps and going on to participate in the National Spelling Bee, which is an exciting and incredible opportunity. All right, let me get back to this. So I'm going to go over some logistics and then some of the rules and so forth for the spelling bee. First, the bee is at Garfield High School. I've got the address right there. It's on Smoketown Road in Woodbridge. Garfield is an older high school, and as you all know, the older high schools have a lot of potential entrances and doors. And Garfield in particular actually has two different parking lots. There are parking lots on either side of the school as you're looking at it from Smoketown Road. You will want to park on the side of the school that faces the football field. So that's sort of the east side of the school, I think, if I'm doing my directions right. And then look for door number 17. Now, I'll tell you that door number 17 tends to look a little bit like a loading dock. It's kind of set back off the parking lot. But we'll put some balloons or something out there so you can find it, and there'll be volunteers at that door looking out for you. But that is the way to access the school that evening. If you try to use other doors, you won't be able to get in. So please use door 17. That gives you access to the school and very quick access to the auditorium where the spelling bee will be held. Not one advance. There we go. So timeline, we'll open up registration about 5:45. I know we typically have some spellers who like to get there early, but we're just not set up to register folks until about 5:45. We do ask that you be there by 6:30. That ensures that we have time to introduce you to the judges and the pronouncer in person, to do a last minute review of the rules, to give you time to get settled, use the bathroom, that kind of thing. And then the spelling bee itself will begin at 7 o'clock. When this is very important, so you can be prepared as spellers and as parents. When you arrive, you will check in with our team. There'll be some tables set up right in front of the auditorium in the hallway there. You'll check in, you'll get your number that you wear during the spelling bee, and then you will go to the cafeteria. But before you go to the cafeteria, you have to give your parents anything you have on you that is not going to go up on stage with you. And so that means if it's supposed to be warm next week, so you may not need a jacket. But if you're wearing a jacket, that means your jacket. It means any study materials. It means phone, smartwatches, laptops, iPads, anything else. The only thing that you can take on stage with you is a water bottle. You may take a water bottle with you up on stage, but that is the only thing. So when you get to when you get to Garfield next Tuesday night, be prepared to give your parents everything else. And then you'll go to the cafeteria. where we'll have some folks waiting for you, and your parents will go into the auditorium to find their seats and watch the spelling bee. And again, as I said, before the bee, the spellers will bring the judges and the pronouncer in to meet with you all, do a final quick review of the rules. There's also a final opportunity to use the restroom, although it would be great if spellers you would use the restroom when you get there, rather than waiting until right before 7 o'clock. We have limited restroom availability, and if 53 kids try to go to the restroom all at once, then we'll never get the bee started at 7 o'clock. So a few minutes before 7, we have some volunteers from the National Honor Society there at Garfield. They will help you all line up in numerical order, and then we will move on to the stage from there. And again, the bee will begin about 7 o'clock. We'll have some brief introductions from myself and Mrs. Jenkins, and then we will get started with the actual spelling. When you get into the auditorium, for those of you who have not participated in the past, the spellers will be up on the stage. There will be chairs arranged on the stage, probably in about 5 rows of chairs, and you will sit in numerical order. So speller number 1 is going to sit at the very front, and then speller number 53 is going to be at the back. And we'll direct you as you come onto the stage in terms of where to sit. For the first few rounds of the bee, and this will make more sense when you get there, and Miss O'Shiny will kind of lead you through the process here, but we'll stand up by row and line up at the front of the stage, to approach the microphone and spell. So in other words, spellers, the first row, which might be spellers 1 through 10, let's say, will all line up on stage, with number 1 in the front, and then number 1 will step to the microphone and spell their word. And then when they're done, number 2 will go to the microphone. That just makes things go a little bit quicker with people trying to get in and out of the rows of chairs. And again, we'll go over that night. When you are spelling your first word, please state your name and the school you are representing. And again, it's only when you're spelling the first word. Ms. O'Shaney will remind you if you forget. This is actually, it's important for 2 reasons. Number 1, we want everybody in the audience to know who you are and which school you're from. But number 2, that gives the judges a chance to make sure that you're close enough to the microphone so they can hear you. So that's obviously very important before you actually start spelling a word. We don't run into this much anymore, but if you want to wear a mask on stage, that's fine. But you just need to take off your mask when you're spelling your words so the judges can see your lips and see your mouth moving. That kind of helps them determine what letters you're saying. Most importantly, you should face the judges when you're spelling. Don't look out to the audience. And it's very important to speak clearly and loudly into the microphone. And I'm going to cover this kind of thing a few times, and I'll remind you again on next Tuesday night. But it's the judges have to be able to hear you, and they have to be able to hear the letters you're saying. So it's really important to speak clearly and loudly when you are when you are spelling. So some of the frequently asked questions that we get, number 1 is, what questions can I ask the pronouncer? So you can ask Miss O'Shiny to repeat the word, to say it again. You can ask her for any alternate pronunciations, a definition, to use the word in the sentence, and to provide the part of speech, like whether it's a noun or a verb or an adverb. You can ask for the words language of origin, but you cannot ask for root words. So if you watch the National Spelling Bee, sometimes they ask for, does this come from the Greek philo, meaning that? We don't have that information, so those kind of questions are not, we can't answer those kind of questions. But everything else you can ask, and Ms. O'Shiny will have the answers for you. Biggest question we get every year. If I start to spell the word and stop, can I go back to the beginning? Yes, you may go back to the beginning of the word and start over, but you may not spell it any differently. Otherwise, you will be eliminated. And so, in other words, if you're given the word vacation and you start VACE, you can't go back and spell it VACA. You are eliminated. So I will say this several times. Every year there are spellers who are eliminated because they just went too quickly. And they didn't stop to think about what they were saying. So take your time, and these kind of errors won't happen because you can't go back and spell it differently. But you can go back if you get kind of confused in the middle of the word as to where you are, you can go back and start all over again. You just have to say the same letters in the same order. Do I have to repeat the word before or after spelling it? So, in other words, if the word is vacation, do I need to say vacation before I start spelling it? That is not required. However, I strongly encourage that you do that. And the reason is that when you repeat that word back, the pronouncer can be sure you've heard the word correctly. A lot of words tend to sound the same. Now, if it's a homophone, she'll tell you, "Hey, this word has another word that means something different." But it's really important that it's your responsibility as a speller to be sure that you have heard the word correctly. And the best way to be sure about that is to repeat it back to Miss O'Shiny. And then if she or the judges thinks that maybe you haven't heard it correctly based on what you're repeating back to them, they will say the word again, and try to make sure that you understand it. Does punctuation, capitalization, hyphenation count? No. Accent marks don't count. Spaces don't count. The only thing that counts is getting the correct letters in the correct order. So you do not need to worry about accent marks, hyphens, spaces, capital letters, anything like that. It does not matter. Just the correct letters in the correct order. Is there a time limit? There's no specified time limit for spelling words. Um, If the pronouncer believes you've exhausted all your questions, she or the judges will ask you to begin spelling, and at some point the judges may, if you refuse to begin spelling, you can be eliminated. That's up to the judge's discretion. We'll give you enough time to ask all the questions you can ask, and get all the information you need, but at some point you do have to start spelling the word. If you spell a word incorrectly, the judges will tell you that is not correct. They will give you the correct spelling. And then we ask that you please, you can go back to your chair on the stage and grab your water bottle if you brought one up, your coat or whatever you brought on stage. And then you're gonna leave the stage on the far side of the stage from where the judges are sitting, so kind of behind where you are. And there'll be some ladies and some National Honor Society folks there who will direct you. And the spellers who are eliminated are seated together. We have reserved seating for you in the front of the auditorium, because we'll bring you back on stage at the end of the spelling bee to get some awards and recognition. The end of the bee gets a bit confusing, and Ms. O'Shiny and Mr. Bixby will kind of work together to coordinate this. But essentially, the bee is conducted in rounds, and each round consists of all the spellers who are left on stage spelling one word. There's a process for the end of the bee that once we get down to a small number of spellers, and it's typically five or fewer, um, you, at the beginning of a round, Ms. O'Shani may say for you not to, if you miss a word, she may say you need to stay on stage. Because if all the spellers miss a word in that round, then all of you are still, none of you is eliminated, basically. So again, it gets confusing. She will lead you through the process, but if, for example, there are two spellers left on stage and both of those spellers miss a word, then neither one is eliminated. So we have to we have to get to a round where there is only one speller remaining, and then when that speller spells the championship word, then he or she is declared the champion. Don't worry too much about that. Like I said, they will guide you through it once we get to that point in the spelling bee. We do ask that spellers stay until the end of the bee, remain seated together in the auditorium, and then you will all be called back up on stage and to be recognized for your accomplishment winning the regional spelling bee or winning your school spelling bee. We do take a break, typically, usually falls between 8:30 and 8:45, when we're down to about 15 or so spellers at the end of a round. We'll take a break, let everyone use the restroom, get a drink of water if they need it. And at that point, we also rearrange the remaining spellers on stage so that they're all seated at the front of the row of chairs, but we stay in numerical order. Most important thing, I warned you, I'm going to keep repeating it. Take your time. Do not rush to spell the word. Uh, I mean, last year I can remember three or four kids who just kind of rushed through their word, and either they heard the wrong word or they just got a letter wrong because they were saying it too quickly. There is no extra credit for finishing fast. Say the word back to the pronouncer. Let her make sure that you've heard the word correctly, and then spell it slowly and clearly. Again, you do not have to rush. I know it can be nerve-wracking and all of that, but take your time, take a breath, and you'll do your best. Your names and photographs will all be in the Print Inside Nova newspaper this week. This is an example from a couple of years ago of what that will look like. And that paper comes out for parents. That paper comes out on Friday morning. We will also have extra copies available at the Bee for you all to pick up, no cost on next Tuesday evening. We also will have a reporter and a photographer covering the Bee. So the photographer will be taking pictures. He's done it for many years. He does it. You probably won't even notice him. But there will be pictures. Pretty much, we try to get at least one picture of all the spellers during the Bee. Parents, we do not allow parents to take pictures during the Bee. But we do have the photographer there taking pictures that we make available through the website. What does the winner receive? I saw a question here. There is only one winner of the Prince William Bee. That winner will receive a trophy, a gift card from the Bel Air Women's Club, and most importantly, an all expenses paid trip all the way to Washington, D.C. For the Scripps National Spelling Bee. That does include hotel. So we don't pay for transportation because we figure you can probably drive, but it does include hotel and meals, and some meals anyway. So and the National Spelling Bee is the week of Memorial Day, May 24th through 29th. It is back in downtown Washington this year for the first time in a number of years. For those who are familiar with the National Bee, it has been at the Gaylord National Hotel out of National Harbor, probably for the past 10 years or so, but it's back downtown, which I think is exciting because it gives you a chance when there's not bee. The Bee has a number of activities for the spellers, but that gives you a chance to do some exploring around DC yourself. Study words. I know this is a frequently asked question. Your teacher or your school spelling bee coordinator should have given you access to the words of the champions. That is the official study guide for the regional spelling bee. I think there are 4,000 words in there, and the first words in the regional spelling bee will come from that Words of the Champions list. However, and this is very important, uh, it is highly likely that at some point during the bee, toward the end, uh, we will move to words that are not in the Words of Champions. When we do that, Ms. O'Shiny will let you all know that we have moved to those words, so you're kind of prepared for that. Um, but these will be words that you've not necessarily been given you haven't been given in advance to study. The reason that we do that is that winning a spelling bee is more than just memorizing a bunch of words. It's about your knowledge of words generally, and it's also about your ability to figure out perhaps how a word might be spelled based on the definition, based on the language of origin, and that kind of thing. Uh, that's why at some point we may move away from it depends how the bee goes and how fast we're going, but at some point there's a good chance we'll move into words that are not part of the Words of the Champions. It is usually not until we get down to just a small number of spellers left. The release form, again, parents, a reminder, I've put a link in the chat to the release form. And there's also a link in the emails that I've sent out. If you could fill that out online, it just saves us a ton of time at the check-in. And we do have extra copies when you check in. So if you forget, that's fine, but it just saves us a bunch of time. Um, Always get a question about alternates. If you are your school's champion speller and you can't make it next Tuesday evening, please let your school spelling bee coordinator know so the alternate can participate. It's best if you can let us know as well, but that's not required. And we just ask that the alternates identify themselves when they're checking in. So what happens is if a alternate shows up, and we don't know about it in advance, we don't let them, register and check in until we know that the original speller, the champion speller, isn't going to be there. And we do have, unfortunately, every year there's a couple of schools that the champion speller doesn't show up. And that's a shame because the alternate could participate. So if you can't make it, please let the spelling bee coordinator know so the alternate can participate. This is my email address and my phone number. If you have other questions, I'm going to give you everybody an opportunity to ask questions in the chat or the Q&A. But if you have other questions between this evening and next Tuesday, please feel free to send me an email. I do see there was one question. Yeah, just the winner goes to the Nationals. And how are the numbers assigned to the participants? That is random. And you will find out your number when you show up that night. So we'd have 53 registered spellers this year. It's about the same as last year. But the numbers are assigned at random. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Ms. O'Shiny, Mr. Bixby, Mrs. Jenkins, is there anything that you all recall from prior years that I should have covered that I haven't covered?
I think you covered everything as far as I'm concerned, but maybe the other two have an idea of.
Yeah, I've just been monitoring the chat. I resent the link to the release form for those who joined a little late, so you have access to that.
Thank you.
And then just to clarify, the competition has one winner from all spellers, including elementary and middle school students. So one winner combined
Yes.
from all the students.
And I see a question about sixth graders. All the words in the B come from the same list, so it doesn't matter what grade you are. We have two first graders competing this year, and we have seventh graders and eighth graders competing. And it's all one competition. Um, and where do you release it at? Let me see here. We have photos. So we have all your spellers photos. Your school B coordinator uploaded those, so thank you. Um, and let's see what else. The releases for the use of your students' photos in the newspaper and on the website. And if that is a problem for anyone, I would ask that you let your spelling bee coordinator know and have your alternate participate. It's a public event. It's open to the public, and we do cover it. So, um, other questions? I'm seeing 3 open questions here, but only 2. You can fill out the form online. Follow that link. We will also have copies available when you check in to fill out. Those of you who are asking about the 3B level, I don't actually see the Words of Champions. You should be studying the Words of Champions book. It should be a book or a list of about 4,000 words called Words of Champions, and that is where the spelling bee words come from. If there are different levels in that book, then I would say they come from all the levels. Yes, seventh, all spellers are in one big group. We'll have all 53 spellers between ages 6 and 14 on the stage. A question about are we allowed to ask for a phonetic pronunciation? No, it's just the pronunciation. And Ms. O'Shiny will give you alternate pronunciations if any are available. So, anything else? Okay. I'm not seeing any more questions come in. There are 2 first graders this year. We have 2 first graders. So if you've happen to find a copy of this Friday's paper, all the spellers information will be in there. And the event typically takes about 2.5 to 3 hours. Depends how long, how long it takes to get through all the words. And Mr. Shiny, can you put that link back in there? I don't. You do not need to use spaces. Again, no spaces, no hyphens, no capital letters. None of that stuff matters. The only thing that matters is the words in the correct order. The speller you can repeat the word however you want. The question was, can the speller repeat the word with emphasis on syllables? You can repeat it however you want. However, Miss O'Shiny she's only going to say it the one way, so she's not going to say it differently. You may ask for the word in the sentence, yes. Definition, sentence, and so on. So you can bring as many guests as you like. We have there's seating in that auditorium for close to 1,000 people. So bring as many guests as you like. Words from the school spelling, no. The regional spelling bee list comes from the Words of Champions. Another question about how long the event lasts. Like I said, 2.5 to 3 hours. And the newspaper that has the pictures will be this Thursday's paper. So it'll be March the 5th newspaper. It's generally not available anywhere until the 6th, until Friday, but it's the March 5th newspaper. So. All right. I am not seeing any more questions. Thank you all. Thank you, Mrs. Jenkins, Mrs. Shiny, Mr. Bixby. Thank you for being online this evening. Yes, the yes, the numbers are generated randomly, and if you go to InsideNova.com, there's a list of locations where you can find the newspaper. Good luck to everyone, and thank you again for being on here. And we will look forward to seeing everyone a week from tomorrow night at Garfield High School. Thank you, and good luck, and good night. Thank you, everybody.